how do we develop such a different perspective knowing that we have such a shared experience?
Bloods and Crips, they also formed a gang truce.
Oh.
And they were working through their issues because one of the things about the Bloods and the Crips, it was one of the longest ongoing feuds in LA in which a lot of black men lost their lives in response to deindustrialization, the influx of cocaine
and crack, right?
And crack and guns. So following the LA uprising, you had the Bloods and Crips working together trying to come up with issues to help address the problems in their communities thanks to the Nation of Islam. When black people say white, the government is white.
Yeah. And
so when they look at it, when they look at the government,
just say it.
When they look at the government, they look at the government
liberals.
as
just say
white.
it.
So
you know you want to say it.
vis-a-vis the word
liberals,
white and government becomes interchangeable
liberals. Say
in the
it.
black.
Say it, Anton.
What?
Liberals are holding us down. Just say it.
Where do we go from here?
Try to get back to some of our protest stuff. I remember the first time where I saw like sort of white people view things differently than black people was around the LA riots and the O.J. Simpson case. I remember, I know you got a lot of history on that too, but that was like where we were like 13, 14, 15. I remember watching, the white Bronco, driving down the LA freeway.
And also at the same time, what was going on in Rwanda was happening. So like seeing these things juxtaposed to one another. There's a black man on trial in America for killing a white woman, and then there's Hutus and Tutsis at war in Africa, and you see these things playing out. But one of the things about LA has a long history of racism and oppression towards African Americans. One of the biggest, the Watts Riots. When we look at the shooting and killing of Marquette Fry and what led to the uprising in Watts. And then we get to OJ. There's a system.
But did Rodney King happen before OJ or after?
No,
I can't remember.
Rodney King happened after.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Rodney King happened. Wait, hold on. No, Rodney King happened first because the police officers.
Right. The police officers got off.
They moved him to
Simi Valley.
Yeah, Simi Valley, and they were found not guilty with the all-white
so
jury.
people were already mad. Okay.
Yeah, so they tried OJ in downtown LA, where there's a higher population of African Americans.
Yeah,
and it was very interesting, like you said, because the way that we were seeing it was basically, why does this black man have to kill this white woman when he's successful, he's rich?
Yeah, remember OJ was like, OJ was wasn't he the first poster man? Like, he had all these endorsements, endorsements. I mean, before Michael Jordan, it was OJ. He had the Hertz commercial. He was in.
I don't know all that. I just know I know him from the Naked Gun.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I know OJ from the Naked Gun, so I know OJ.
He got so powerful. That was a powerful spot.
Yeah. So it's like seeing OJ and now going back and following and seeing where he was in popular culture. It's like, oh wow. And then seeing the various movies, because OJ is still being exploited to this day. There's various
At least he learned how to read,
coming
I
out.
swear.
There's various programs. There's the 30 for 30.
He's going to have a win. He's got one more win in the system. I just know it.
I hope he does. Because, there's
rooting
a guy.
Rooting for you, OJ. Rooting for you.
There's a guy that they called I believe it was the Sweetheart Killer.
Oh, yeah, you were saying that there is...
The Sweetheart Killer. The Casanova Killer.
Oh, okay.
His name was Glenn Rogers, and there was a documentary out called My Brother the Serial Killer.
Oh, my gosh.
And basically, he says he believes that his brother killed... Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman.
Wow.
And that basically when he was inside of the house, he had stolen some angel pens that he gave to his mother and told his mother to wear it to court. So the documentary is very interesting.
That's so eerie.
I don't know why a lot of people haven't
I never knew about that. I admit, okay, so all this like recreation and bringing back OJ into, the political, the public sphere now, I think it's, if anything, I feel like they want another generation to hate on OJ. Like our generation was there watching it firsthand and kind of created our own beliefs around it. As I said before,
narrative.
Right. I mean, we were there like, and it was real time for us, right? I remember, again, I was at Sidwell. I don't know if I was I was in high school already, and the verdict was coming out, and we were watching it from the television in like the senior center. And when the verdict came out, literally every single black person in the room cheered, and every single white person in the room was like devastated. And same school, same education, etc. But I just thought that was just such a an amazing concept that wow, how do we develop such a different perspective knowing that we have such a shared experience? I thought that was really, really amazing.
Black culture and white culture. But another thing that getting back to the LA riots with the Rodney King is basically the Bloods and the Bloods and Crips. They also formed a gang truce.
Oh.
And they were working through their issues because one of the things about the Bloods and the Crips, it was one of the longest ongoing feuds in LA, in which a lot of black men lost their lives in response to deindustrialization, the influx of cocaine
and crack,
and crack and guns. So following the LA uprising, you had the Bloods and Crips working together, trying to come up with issues to help address the problems in their communities, thanks to the Nation of Islam. Because the Nation of Islam was very instrumental in Jim Brown from Mary Can. Jim Brown, people don't like to talk about Jim Brown, acknowledge Jim Brown, but he's been working with black men for years. The way that, I don't know, I think it's the way that we view our heroes, our individuals who are advocating for us. Jim Brown has been in the community of LA working and changing the lives of men in LA for years.
Right. So what's the issue about that?
Well,
I mean,
you rarely hear about it.
Right. Well, at the end of the day,
you rarely hear about it.
That's what we're talking about.
Why isn't anyone asking Jim Brown to come to Chicago?
Well, so that's the issue. It's like,
why
when you're dealing with realness, and again, going to where people are, addressing the issues up front and kind of working with the community, meeting them where they are, etc. You don't do that sort of work for notoriety.
Right. And
the moment that you do that, people, A, don't trust you from the ground, and B, it's like, what are you doing it for? Are you doing it for community? Are you doing it for upliftment? Are you doing it for empowerment? Or are you poverty pimps? We know, DC is full of them, so I'm not going to talk about it.
The nonprofit industrial complex.
Yes.
That pop up in the black community to aid black males. Yeah. They go through 10 weeks of training and they get a certificate and no job.
Snap their fingers and everything will be solved.
Wow.
Anyway, we could have a whole nother conversation, but let's just talk about Black Lives Matter, shall we? Because let's just do it.
Black Lives Matter.
We don't need anybody to tell us that Black Lives Matter. That's the problem that I have with it, for real.
We've always known that Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter to us since we came from our mothers. Black lives matter to us when we're sitting in our fathers' laps. Black lives matter to us when our grandparents marched, when our grandparents worked as domestics, when our grandparents our great-grandparents had to be sharecroppers. We've always known Black Lives Matter.
Right.
White people, the system.
Certain white people.
And when I talk about
certain
white,
aspects.
and this is something that I want all our viewers to know who are white.
Yeah.
When black people say,
hopefully we still have some.
when black people say white, the government is white.
Yeah. And
so when they look at it, when they look at the government,
just say it.
When they look at the government, they look at the government
liberals.
as
just say
white.
it.
So
vis-a-vis
the word
liberals,
white and government becomes interchangeable
liberals.
in the black.
Say it, Anton.
What?
Liberals are holding us down. Just say it.
Liberals are holding us down? As a question.
No, liberals are holding us down. Liberal ideology, the mindset, the paradigm that, again, we are not equals, you are deficient, I am here to save you. That paternalism is not only was rampant in our community, they're now starting it with new Americans or undocumented or illegals or Latinos, like whatever you want to call it. Their whole being is to make sure that they feel better than and never acknowledge that you are equals.
Well, I wholeheartedly believe this, that African Americans giving 90-something% of our vote to the Democratic Party
no questions
is
asked.
Unwise.
Absolutely.
It's unwise. And as an individual who grew up in the shadow of the 94 crime bill,
right.
who grew up in a lot of these spaces where we've had Democrats.
Predators, what is it? What's that word?
Super predators, bring them to heel.
Darn you, Hillary, darn you.
Yeah, and then for my Haitian people, how the Clintons have
millions,
have
billions, I
destroyed
think it said.
And pilfered and also
stolen
disrupted
children.
their rice cultivation, in which now they have to import rice and can't grow their own.
That's amazing.
Domestic rice.
They got rid of the rice crop?
That's a whole other issue that's heartening, disheartening, because Haiti, the first Black republic, is one of the reasons why we were able to become free.
Toussaint Louverture, right?
Toussaint Louverture and also Jean-Jacques Dessalines.
Oh, that's a lot.
Dirty Bookman,
Yeah.
and the whole Bois Caïman voodoo ceremony. That's the whole crux of how Black people got free, and this whole collective Black mind in response to freedom.
Right.
But yes, I believe the liberals have been playing a very, very vicious and
destructive,
paternalistic and manipulative game with Black people. But they were aided. And some of
by
the
Black people,
some of the Black baby boomers, they have to come to the front of. No, when we think about it, a lot of our elders are in these positions of influence and power, and they are allowing these vehicles to corrode.
I mean, let's be honest.
It's like having a car.
And Jesse Jackson
it's like having a car. You don't put any.
Right?
It's like having a car. You don't put any oil in.
Right.
You do not get a tune-up. You do not get. There's no transmission oil, and then it's like when the motor locks up,
you wonder what
we're
happened.
all in the car, and you look at your son and you say, "Did you put gas in the car?"
Yeah.
And it's like, "Huh?
Yeah,
I could pump the gas, but you have to maintain the maintenance under the hood."
Yeah,
and
we had those systems in place.
Our elders have been negligent in that because there's no way that you have 40-year-olds who have not ascended to positions of influence in these political parties, at these HBCUs, at these churches. We're
gonna have a whole episode.
There's no way that you allow your best and brightest to ascend. You allow them to stay in suspended animation while you continue to associate with good white folks.
Yeah, so Joshua generation is just they're just being like whatever. I'm just gonna have to deal with it.
And that's why gangs are successful.
Okay.
Because in a gang, for a young Black male, they are with recruiting. I mean, I'm talking about with recruiting talent.
Oh yes, okay. So they see that there's a place for you in the system.
In the gang, you can be as tough as you want to. You can be as bold as you want to. You can be as smart as you want to.
Okay.
And you're going to make a lot of money.
We're not promoting gang members.
I'm not promoting gang members, but you see why certain Black men, they say, look, I don't want to go to these institutions where I have to
there's no place for them.
Not act masculine, or I have to behave effeminate, or I have to always check my voice levels, or I can't be who I really want to be.
Right.
In the streets, you can be as tough as you want to be, be as bold as you want to be.
There's a place for that energy.
Yeah.
And a lot of us, I mean, I struggle with it too, where, you have just amazing, this perspective, right? You see all these different things, you see these sparks, and you want to figure out, okay, how do we fix it? How do we get these people to get this way, and make sure these resources are better, this, that, and the other. But it's almost as if our generation doesn't have screw that. We're not even going to ask for permission because we didn't even get it in the first place. But we do see the world differently, and no amount of them staying in these positions of power are going to actually affect the positive change that we need. We need to develop, we need to mature and ascend, and there's no space for us.
they're the typewriter generation, we're the computer generation.
Yeah.
You know, we both have keys, but we're totally different programs.
Yeah.
We're totally different
operating systems.
So
OSs.
it's like OSs. So it's
Yeah.
like our elders, I understand some of them may mean, you know, well, but it's like you're blocking the natural flow of things. And then now you're looking at your youth as the problem and
Yeah.
not the future.
Yeah.
And
It's almost like they don't trust us.
They don't trust us, even though they guided us into this integrated, multicultural America without telling us who we are or what was accomplished before us.
Yeah.
You know, so it's somewhat disheartening to actually look back on the narrative and to say, oh, wow, there was the M Street School. It was highly successful. And in the early 20th century, whites wanted to integrate the M Street School, but blacks said no. Because the education was so up to par that blacks were like, no, we don't want to integrate.
Right.
That basically you had at Dunbar individuals who worked
Yeah.
or went to universities, became doctors, and came back to teach at a high school.
I think was it Cardozo was the construction. Each one of our DC high schools had a trade and a craft.
To help
Right.
fill a spot in Black America.
Yeah.
It's like now.
And then all of a sudden it just snapped the
stopped.
fingers gone.
Why? You guys are progressing too much.
Well, uppity, you know, we uppity, they never ever liked us.